What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It's Saturday, March the 22nd. I'm stoked to be here fresh off of a pretty wicked SmackDown last night. We are absolutely going to break that down. Can't do it without my esteemed colleagues. I've got a wicked crew hanging out with me today. We've got kind of the old heads. I don't want to go over the top with that, but we do. I'm going to send it first and foremost to the First Lady of Wrestling Republic. Absolutely. The queen herself, Megan, out in New York. How are you? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here. Blessed to be here. SmackDown was really good. Okay. They set Italy on fire yesterday. So I am really excited to talk about what took place last night.
100%. So am I. And we can't do so, though, without first introducing one more. And that is going to be, you got to be in Texas geographically right now. I actually didn't do my research on that one, but Ignacio is back. The always controversial Ignacio. What's going on, my friend? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. I am in Texas, but Clark, you always introduce the best for last, right? But in this situation, you made a mistake because nobody's better than the Queen of Lower Manhattan, Megan. So you have to apologize to her for that.
No, I know. That's why ladies first. Yeah. That's why she went first. No doubt about it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right. But yes, we had a great show at SmackDown yesterday. I saw some interesting things, and I'm great to follow up on it.
So much fun.
Yes.
I'm excited about it. We've got a bunch of comments already out of the gates. Fernando Zayas with what's good, WR crew. What's going on, Fernando? Good to have you as always. He's saying best 2020 SmackDown of 2025 so far. I think that might be a stretch, but it's possible. Happy weekend, WR from I Make Beats. Yes, happy weekend. What's going on? He said, caught another early UK show, but still crashed out before it finished because I'm old. Gotta respect that. All right. Let's get right into our first topic, though, because Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, which I loved this segment. I will say, probably the most obviously booked Mania match outside of the ones that have already been booked. Is officially booked last night.
Yes.
But I'm stoked about it. This is a blood feud. This has been boiling over for a long time. I think it's interesting that they kind of reversed the order and allowed Kevin and Sammy to work in Canada, whereas we're going to get the Kevin and Orton payoff in Vegas. Either way, I enjoyed the way that this was handled last night. And how hot was that crowd in Italy, like we mentioned earlier? Megan, I'm going to start with you. What were your thoughts on it? The match, the segment last night, and obviously the announcement that it is official.
Okay. Well, you know what? I've always seen Kevin as a victim. Kevin is a victim. Everyone does him wrong. His friends are unloyal. He's loyal to everyone, but no one is loyal to him. So I always knew that while his main focus was Cody and then Sami Zayn, I knew in his rearview mirror, or so he thought, Randy was there. And he was just waiting for the time and the place. And so when he came back at Elimination Chambers, was that Elimination Chambers he came back? The plan was in motion. So, I'm on Randy's side. I'm waiting for Randy to just completely knock Kevin's noodle off. Okay. It needs to happen. If there's one person who could take Kevin down a couple of notches, is Randy. So that's probably one of the matches that I'm really looking forward to, is that. And if Randy punts Kevin's head into section 200 at WrestleMania, then so be it.
I am with you 1000%, Megan, and I love that you mentioned the punt. There is a brilliance to the punt now, because I never fathomed when he started doing it out of the gates and hurting people with concussions, kicking John Cena's dad in the head, that us as fans of a babyface Randy Orton one day would be begging for him to do the same thing to Kevin Owens.
Yes. And like I said, look, from a woman's perspective, Randy is a lot thicker than he was before. That punt is going to have so much weight to it. Oh my God. It's going to be something.
Thinking the same thing, because I mean, you look at the impressiveness of him being able to come back from that injury to his spine. The reason that he put on the muscle was because he needed to be able to support his surgically repaired spine. The work he put in to redevelop his physique at this point in his career is not lost upon me, and it shouldn't be, because it's like, that is as impressive as any of his in-ring accomplishments. What he was able to do out of the ring to get back as fast as he did. I mean, to put on 40 pounds of muscle while rehabbing a surgery is otherworldly dedication when it comes to rehab, like, and training. It absolutely. The punt, though. Let's focus on the punt for a second, because Ignacio, I'm going to go to you for this one. I mean, is there a chance that Kevin Owens' head flies further than the Gene Snitsky baby did? Is there a chance he out punts Gene Snitsky? I'm excited about it, though. And what were your thoughts on last night and everything?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is I don't want to sound redundant, so I'm not going to mention it right now. But I mean, it's just two great talents doing what they do best and going out, cutting promos, performing, having a war of words. And it's going to be a great match. You know what I mean? This is a perfect match for WrestleMania. You got Cody coming off a hot feud. You got Randy Orton, who's more beloved now than he probably ever was before. I think people appreciate Randy Orton now more than they ever have. Kind of, even though he has been one of the best performers post Attitude Era, ruthless aggression era when he started up till now. I think he's more appreciated now than more he ever was, from his promos, from his in-ring work, his how would you call it, in-ring generalship, I guess you can say. He is a cerebral assassin in the ring, and it's just going to be a great match. I can't wait for it. The buildup is good. I mean, they're not doing anything wrong here. They're not doing anything silly. They're both professionals. Kevin Owens has been, I think, in my opinion, over the past couple of years, has been secretly been an MVP in WWE, and you can also say that about Sami Zayn too. But it's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait. I don't know who's going to come out victorious. I would imagine it would probably be Randy Orton, but it'd be hard to argue that the winner of this match isn't lined up to face either Cody Rhodes or Gunther, depending on what they do with the draft. Because I think I saw something somewhere that they've announced that they're going to have the draft sometimes after WrestleMania. So it'd be hard to argue that one of these guys coming out of WrestleMania isn't going to be the number one contender for a title and face either or Cody, or whoever wins, Cody or John Cena or Gunther or Jey Uso.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And I even love the idea of a lot of those combinations. KO as Jey Uso's first challenger, right? KO Gunther, I don't think we've actually seen run in WWE yet. We did see it one time, right? One match. And then we had Intercontinental title reign, though, right? That was pre-world title, was it not? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think it was.
It was world title. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. You know what? That was last year, wasn't it? Now that I'm thinking of it. Yes. Okay. And then the other one that I was thinking is kind of the obvious one, which is Randy and Cody, right? I mean,
they have to run that back.
And just the history between the two, between Legacy being like the second version of Evolution, Cody being the most successful member from Legacy outside of obviously Orton himself. DiBiase, walked away from the sport at some point, but like that, there's so much there. I love getting there. The other thing I wanted to mention that we didn't fully talk about, though, that I really liked,
that it was for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, it was the Intercontinental from DCX Warlord. Okay, I mean, either way. By the way, the two title reigns for Gunther, to me, for some reason, kind of run together in my head. I don't know if that's just a me thing. I'm just coming clean on that one.
It does, even though the world title reign has been ass.
It has been. It's frustrating. I also think getting rid of the aesthetic of Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah.
for his entrance, all of those things that led to the IC title reign being so intriguing, they've taken away a lot of them. They've really, it's hard to strip Gunther down further, right? He's already a guy that wears pretty much generic trunks, calls himself the ring general. He's just a wrestler, right? That's what he focuses on. You can't really like strip the character down more. But now you've taken away his henchmen, you've taken away the entrance, all of that. His mic work has been solid. I can't wait for the Jey Uso match, but to your point, this has not been his best title reign. But one thing I did find interesting about this, specifically the KO and Orton match, is I think a lot of people, myself included, were calling for a stipulation type match. I mean, we saw lights out, unsanctioned, Sammy and Kevin very recently here, and I think we were looking to like up the ante almost. What I love about this is, and I believe it was Ignacio, you mentioned the cerebral assassin, right? Triple H-esque, the way that Orton operates in the ring. In a regular match, he's amazing psychologically. And building this as a normal match around the violence of the punt just gives you the anticipation throughout. Is he going to kick him in the head?
Yeah.
Is he going to do it? And that, I think, is absolutely brilliant. We didn't need extra violence outside of the punt, right? Nothing is bigger than the punt in this match. And that,
like
that was a smart move booking-wise.
Like, I think would make this more cool or interesting is if, like, KO campaigned to have, like, the punt banned.
He might end up doing that too.
I would love
end
that.
up doing that too. Mm-hmm.
The punt's banned, but maybe the package pile driver's not, or
something
both?
like that. Like campaign for it, but like what's his name? Like Triple H or Adam Pearce doesn't go for it. You know what I mean? But he tries hard to do it.
If we were going to do something really fun, though, you know what? Because Aldis could probably deliver this line pretty perfectly. You get them both banned. You get the package pile driver banned. You get the punt banned.
Okay.
And then the week before, Kevin Owens just like does something he shouldn't. Stupid. Nick Aldis goes, well, you know what? Now this match is no holds barred. And it actually means something. Yeah. It actually means something. Now they're both available again.
Mm-hmm.
They're both back in the right. I would kind of love that along the way here to sort of tell something
because
like
it takes
that.
The audience. Yeah, it takes the audience
on
like, that's what we're waiting for, and then like, okay, now we're back in action,
Yeah. And you can kind of do that week of too, where it's like down to the nitty gritty. They're both banned by this stage, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? Now forget it. It's no holds barred, and like Randy has that look on his face, like, you know what that means. Like,
yeah,
right. I think
it has to happen that way.
That would be a really cool way to go about this. I mean, obviously that also takes patience. There's so many moving parts, but I just thought it was a fun idea for sure. But speaking of interesting ideas and fun stuff and wild stuff that we saw last night. So Jade Cargill has had, she's gone streaking more often than the movie Old School. She's had multiple streaks throughout her career that we've seen now at this stage. I don't mind that the streak, finger quotes, sorry, I'm air quoting now, but the streak itself is over, especially because, Naomi interfered and it wasn't a clean win for Liv. But I do think it's interesting that just like, can we stop doing the streak thing with Jade? Because she keeps getting compared to Goldberg, and that's not fair. Like, get Jade as far away from the Goldberg name as I liked Goldberg as a kid, but like, stop. Like, it's not, she can be dominant and not be the women's Goldberg. Like, I hate that is the narrative half the time that Jade's in the ring. Like, she's gotten so much better in the ring, bell to bell, and her moveset is deeper than Goldberg's ever was. And bless Goldberg for what he did in the industry, but I'm just saying, Liv wins via Oblivion. Obviously, the Naomi attack is huge. That rivalry is in full swing. Megan, I'm going to you first on this one. What were your thoughts? The streak's over with Jade. Liv picks up the win, which I actually think was big. That Liv was, I think, the proper choice if you're going to have somebody break her undefeated streak. This one didn't feel as much like a streak as some of the other ones anyway. At least to me. I don't know. What were your thoughts?
I mean, I love Liv. I love Liv. Liv has grown on me. She is just the bee's knees. I probably would have liked Naomi being the one to like end the streak, but I have to agree. It honestly, before the meme was posted up yesterday from our lovely social media team, I did not realize that Jade had a streak going on. I didn't know. I was just more wrapped up in the story of what was going on.
You, me, and Fernando, by the way, for that matter.
Didn't know. So yes, sad that the streak is over, but and kudos to Liv for just being the first of everything, because she's just doing it big. But yeah, I think the most important thing of this whole situation is, where does this leave Naomi and Jade at this point? Apparently it's spilling over to Twitter, and it spilled over to Bianca, because Jade and Bianca had some words online today. Jade kind of made it out that, she didn't trust either one of them, and Bianca saw it. And Bianca, she had her words, and Jade seemed to have taken those words personally. So there might be something spilling over between all three of them in the next few weeks leading up to WrestleMania. But as in for what happened last night, Jade had to be a fool to think that Naomi wasn't coming for her. She had to. Naomi made it super clear that she was gunning for Jade, and she did what she had to do. And now I'm just waiting for their WrestleMania match announcement, because we need that
badly.
We need
I
that.
agree so much. I make beats in the comments with, I think Bianca might still be implicated in the Jade attack. I do too.
Jade kind of implied that she did not trust Bianca at that time. She did not say that she trusts her at this current time. Now, with the way that they both reacted to that, it's telling me that there's still some hurt feelings between the two of them. Jade doesn't necessarily felt like Bianca had her back. She kind of implied that Bianca is always thinking about herself, which goes back to what Rhea had said about Bianca being selfish. Now, you got to be a little selfish in this business. You have to think of yourself first.
Yeah.
I've used that example before. If a plane is going down, you got to put the mask on yourself first.
And then you assist the elderly and the children next to you, right?
Yes. So I feel like what Bianca is doing. Bianca is putting her mask on first. She can continue to help the women's division.
The bag will not inflate.
Yes, and and they're mad with Bianca over that. So, yeah, we need that WrestleMania match. I don't necessarily know what that will instate when it comes down to Bianca, but I do know one thing. If the matches are set for 2 separate days, something is going to bleed when it comes down to the opposite match. So
I think so too.
Day, it will affect the next match on the next night.
Honestly, Megan, like you said a lot of brilliant things there, and I agree with you pretty much on all fronts. But I think one of the most ones that stood out to me is this seems very much now like a 2-night story. Like it's going to bleed into both nights of Mania. Yeah. Like that's what it feels like. That's what makes sense. I will say, of course, if the seatbelt sign's on, though, make sure you stay in your seat at all times. No, I'm sorry. Airplane safety stuff. Classic. Okay, let's pay some bills really quick. Let's talk about our friends over at Etsy. Go ahead and check this out. Even if you're the green message in your group chat, you can download this one. It's on both the App Store and the Google Play Store. ITSY, the Itsy app. Head over to upcoming streams. I'm on there pretty much every Sunday. Best part is once you create your profile and everything, you want to argue with me about John Cena or Cody Rhodes or any of our creators we have on the Itsy platform, you can do so as long as you have a cell phone with a microphone and a camera. You don't even have to turn your camera on. You don't even have to show face. You can just be audio only and totally, you have your 2 minutes. But I'm just telling you, if you want to argue Cody or Cena with me, pack a lunch. Either way, make sure you download the app. I assure you, you will enjoy it. But speaking of things enjoyable, maybe not enjoyable, I don't know, borderline controversial, who knows? Let's talk about Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton on the microphone specifically. I was at dinner last night. This one was fun. This was interesting. Watched it this morning over morning coffee, played it, watched it again. I'm gonna keep my hands away. And what are your thoughts on this, Ignacio? How did you feel about Charlotte and Tiffy's promo? Did you feel like Charlotte destroyed Tiffy? Did you feel like one was better than the other by a lot? How? And start there.
Well, it's kind of like what I said before, and I saw Ben's analysis on it before the show, and I agree with a big chunk of what he said in that, Charlotte Flair, I mean, if she challenges Tiffany Stratton, I mentioned when she first won the Royal Rumble, I mean, she's going to expose her for her not being ready for the spot that she's in. I don't think Tiffany Stratton, I don't think she's earned that spot. I don't think she's ready. I think it's too early for her, and part of the problem is that, she is trying to be Charlotte Flair version 1 or whatever. She's a mimic of Charlotte, and you can't have two Charlottes on the same show. And that's what we have. Essentially, we have Charlotte versus Charlotte at WrestleMania, except there is no other Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is the greatest female performer of all time. She's one of the greatest performers overall of all time in her promos, in her demeanor. And, the person you see on camera, that is Charlotte Flair. That is a huge part of her personality. I've met her in person, and she's a lovely person. But I can imagine that is what she thinks of herself, that she is the greatest performer of all time, and she absolutely is. And you have this person, Tiffany Stratton, coming up from NXT, who's athletic like Charlotte Flair. She looks like her as far as like the blonde hair and the personality and the way she carries herself. It's like, after this match, you almost have to take into consideration, what are they going to do with Tiffany? They should give her a break and then have her move her to Raw or the opposite show of Charlotte Flair, because, they're so different, other than the fact that Charlotte Flair is Charlotte Flair, and she's built a reputation for herself as being the greatest performer of all time, for the past 10 years. So, the issue was that that Charlotte exposed Tiffany Stratton for her fault, and Tiffany Stratton, she had a couple of some hiccups during the promo or the interview, and Ben said that that they should be upset at Charlotte Flair, that should take accountability for her maybe going overboard a little bit and destroying her and making her look foolish. And my response to that is that, well, you know what? This was a pre-tape. So, if they didn't want it to make air, or if they wanted to do another take, then they should have done it, or they shouldn't have aired it. And maybe not Triple H himself has a chance to see everything, but I mean, somebody within Triple H's circle would have been like, hey, this is what the boss would like, so let's air it. Or this is what the boss wouldn't like, so we need to do another take, or let's save it for next week or something. So, it was approved and it made air. And if it's a storyline deal, then I think they're headed in the right direction. And if it's not a storyline deal, well, then I'm glad, because then that means Tiffany Stratton needs to take a break. And like I said, go back to the opposite show where Charlotte is after WrestleMania, or go back to NXT or freshen her up again.
Ignacio, you inspired me. I changed my mind. I actually do have an opinion on this topic now.
All right.
And I'm going to give this to Megan next. But like, here's what I gotta say. So, if somebody gets dunked on in basketball really badly, what do? Put them on a poster. So you got dunked on last night. You know what nobody said is, can't wait to hear Tiffany's response. Because I can't.
Yep.
She's got to come back with something. This is the rivalry headed to Mania. And guess when Mania isn't? Today, tomorrow, next week, the week after. There's a lot of time. Charlotte Flair dunked on her. So what? She did. If Tiffany's going to be as good as we think she can, because I agree with you, Ignacio, the comparisons are apt. They're both freak athletes. They're both blonde. They're both cocky and conceited in various ways. So Charlotte Flair bowled over her, bullied her. She's the bad guy. No duh. No duh, she did. She did her job. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What I don't even understand. There's a lot of, oh man, what a horrible time to call me. Okay, Megan, though, I will toss this one to you. What do you think about Charlotte destroying Tiffy on the mic?
Okay. I'll just make it plain and simple. It's like you said, Charlotte did her job. She is a heel. She is an experienced heel. She is an experienced heel that happens to be a veteran whose job is to spank the rookie who needs a little humbling. And that's what happened last night.
Yep.
Now, where Tiffany went wrong, she should have never let Charlotte get the first word. The minute Charlotte opened up her mouth, she should have said, listen here, I'm the champ, and the question was addressed to me. That's how you be assertive, okay? That's where she first messed up. Where she messed up the second time was the repeatal of the line about, oh, Charlotte, all you want to do is come and throw water on something that's hot. Look, we heard it the first time. It wasn't a hot line. She said it a second time, and she still didn't get the reaction that she was looking for. And like I said on Twitter, Charlotte sunk her teeth in her, and she did not let up. That is what you are supposed to do. The prime example that I could think of is when The Rock and John Cena had that promo. Yeah, I remember that one promo where The Rock had his little lines on his arm and John Cena called him out in front of a whole sold out arena about his lines on his arm. So maybe it's just because it's two women, right? Charlotte was supposed to hold Tiffany's hand. No, she's not supposed to. Tiffany's a big girl. Now, this is how you will fix it. Because now Charlotte got the upper hand. If you let Tiffany retain at WrestleMania, it's going to look like pity. So here's what I would do. I will let Charlotte win. And I will put Tiffany back on the drawing board. Not for too long, but just to rebuild her as a face. Because Tiffany, she has knocked out, she can play a heel. She can knock that out of the park. She is not good as a face. If you take the next couple of months in building her as a face and having her challenge the queen, Charlotte, and you just run with that, get the crowd to root for Tiffany, get the crowd to push for Tiffany to win, it might come off as the same way as Cody and Roman. It might, but it worked in Cody's favor, and it will work in Tiffany's favor as well. Now, if y'all want to wait until next year before she gets the title back, or later on this year, like a Survivor Series or something, that's really up to them. But Tiffany needs work on being a face.
Yeah.
And she's not good at that. So that's what I would do. That's what
I'm in complete agreement. And that's where I think Charlotte, that's where I'm so interested on the nuance of it now that the dust is settled since last night, right? So Charlotte bowls over her and does exactly what you need to come back as a face.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing likable about the way Charlotte went about it. But that's the point.
No.
And
Right?
honestly, that might have been the way it was supposed to go down. That it's like in the comment, Tiffany has to look sympathetic. Right now, she came from NXT to the main roster. She became Miss Money in the Bank. She took the title from her friend, who wasn't really her friend, and now she's the hottest thing on SmackDown. But if you ask Charlotte, she's not the hottest thing on SmackDown, which is even terrible, because for a challenger to say that you are not the hottest on the show and you're the champion of the show,
it's brutal.
But was she lying?
No, it was ice cold. No, that's what I loved about it, though, too, right? To your point, it's like, okay, wait, in that moment, yes, she got the win in the moment, right? But if we want Tiffany to ever be able to be a babyface, doesn't she need somebody to overcome as gnarly as what she just received last night?
It's definitely giving Snow White and the witch.
Right?
And Charlotte plays a good witch.
She does.
And she thrives off of it. And even sent her little condolences tweet afterwards.
Oh, so good.
You know, so it's like when you coddle Tiffany like this, it makes her look weak. Don't coddle her. Don't coddle her. This is the part of the game.
100%.
Yeah, the only thing I think she can recover from this is that, you know, that she starts to go personal, because, you know, Charlotte, it's been in media or whatever that, you know, she's had a marriage that's ended that can be brought up to light. I think they tried to do it years ago with her brother. I think that would probably maybe be in bad taste, but, you know, maybe go a little personal. Yeah. Maybe
something
go a little
personal, maybe not that.
Like, you know,
but be ready.
But a little darker.
But be ready, because as much as you throw at Charlotte, she could throw back. And I don't know if Tiffany is ready for that type of
heat.
Vocal
I hear you.
Fights, yeah.
Okay, let's get on to our main event, the main event of the afternoon here, for me at least. We've got Seth, no longer freaking, just Rollins. Just Seth Rollins against CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Confirmed? I don't know. Yes, I think it's pretty much been confirmed the whole time. I've had so many complaints on this show, so I'm just going to get it out of the way again. Why would three people fight each other at once for no reason? So this has to be something. 100%. And if it is not the favor from Paul Heyman, being that the winner of this match is then inserted into the John Cena Cody Rhodes match, I don't know what in the wide world of sports we're doing here. I really enjoyed this segment last night, but I have not forgotten about that favor. I didn't miss that wink. And just for pride, I beat Punk and Rollins at once. I beat Roman and Punk at once, or I beat Seth and Punk at once. Isn't good enough for WrestleMania for me. That's my opinion on it. Please add to this. Megan, what were your thoughts on the execution last night? And are you in the same boat as obviously me and Ignacio now?
I thought this segment was tasty. I thought it was good. Do not ask me who I think or who I want to win in this match. I love all three of them equally. So I do not have a dog in this fight. Whoever wins, wins. But I do appreciate that Punk did remind Paul that he still has that favor, even though Paul kind of looked at him like, please don't bring that up right now. Like you are causing strife between me and my tribal chief. Please don't bring that up. But Phil is always going to be that messy ex. Like he's always going to be that one that's always going to remind you how good things used to be when y'all two was together. And it gets under Roman's skin so much. It's so enjoyable because at one point you couldn't say anything that would upset Roman. And now anytime Punk brings up this favor, or like he reminded him how he saved the bloodline at War Games, it definitely pisses Roman off. As in for Seth equally hates both of them. He has history with both of them. He has history with Roman. He has history with Punk. He feels like they both have done harm to him. He feels like they both have caused him pain in his life. Not necessarily acknowledging the pain that he has caused to the both of them. Honestly, I do not know what this fight or this match can result to. I don't know what they could get out of it. More than likely, it will be for a title opportunity. But is it going to be up against Cody or is it going to be up against John? That's the question, So I don't know.
I think you got to get them to night 2. Get one of them into night 2. I think that's the only way. Now, I will say we have the comments of the month that absolutely the most inaccurate comments of the month. Clark has never seen a bar fight. I'm actually really good at those. But I will say this, and I understand Fernando with I don't mind a triple threat based on nothing but bad blood. I don't hate it. What I hate is it has to be the opener or the close. Roman opens or closes the show, period. So if there is no stipulation and this is a night 1 main event after we've now witnessed multiple title matches before this, and it has nothing to do with the next night like we had last year or anything like that, that's where my issue lies. I just fight each other separately, right? You know what I mean? Solve your problems separately, if that makes any sense. I don't know. Ignacio, I'm going to you. You said you agreed with me earlier when it came to this. I'm excited for the match. What was your thoughts on last night, though? And they've got to add that stipulation. They got to add something to justify a triple threat for no title.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week or a couple of weeks ago, is that, I think, well, first of all, I think this is just kind of the victim, or however you want to phrase it, of WWE just being so damn top heavy. I mean, what are you going to do with all these people? People are criticizing, Damian Priest and McIntyre. They're saying McIntyre should be in a better spot. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, although I think they have a story, so theirs kind of makes sense, but it's just that WWE is so damn top heavy, and you got John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and they want to give Jey Uso a moment and a match with Gunther. And it's just, what are you going to do with all these stars? And Roman and Seth have history. Seth and Punk have history, but Roman and Punk don't necessarily have a history other than Paul Heyman. So I would have liked to just seen Roman and Punk and Seth face like an up-and-coming talent at WrestleMania and put somebody over. I think that's where they should have gone, because other than them being stakes, a match of this magnitude with stars of this magnitude, I think has to have stakes. And I agree with you. But the only thing is that if you do something like, okay, the winner faces either Cody or John Cena the next night on night 2, or gets in the match and later on that evening, if they do the whole like night 2 thing, that kind of takes the shine off of Jey Uso and Gunther in the moment that we believe that Jey Uso is going to have, at least in my opinion. So I don't know. I think they're just trying to interject as many stars. I think this is an attraction match because they want all three on the WrestleMania card, and they want to sell tickets, and it's an attraction match, and it's just for us to enjoy. And I'm not a big fan of triple threats. I am excited to see all three in the ring at the same time. I think it's pretty cool, but I mean, I think there needs to be some stakes. I think there needs to be a title match guaranteed down the road. Maybe not at WrestleMania, but maybe at the upcoming pay-per-views or SummerSlam. That way we have something to look forward to.
I think so too. I agree with you. There just has to be something extra here. It cannot just be to see who the best of the three is.
I think it's missing something, yeah.
Yeah, it's missing just like a little bit of a nudge is what I would call it, right?
Like they're fighting for Paul.
Yeah, like now, that's an interesting one here. Fernando said Heyman is playing both Roman and Punk. He's going to help and side with Seth. Seth started saying architect type stuff recently. That would be fascinating.
Yeah, but I'm sure so.
Fascinating.
Let me interject something real quick. Is that
go right ahead.
I think something that would be interesting or cool is that. John Cena has formed this alliance with Rock. I think it'd be pretty cool. Maybe not necessarily that has to be associated with the match, but man, how cool if one of these guys, any of them, joined Cena and Rock's
would be
group
very
or faction
cool
or whatever. I mean, you could, yeah.
So I think
that'd be awesome.
That's where I even go back to the Seth thing, being the architect, the history there. Seth seems like a heck of a candidate. Okay, but with that, I will say that's going to bring us to the end of today's show. I really appreciate everyone that tuned in. We had an absolute blast. Thank you so much. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do on behalf of me, Clark, Ignacio, and Megan. Check everything out tomorrow. It's going to be same time, same place. That's 1 o'clock over here on the West Coast. That's 3 o'clock over on the East Coast of the United States. That's of course 8 p.m. in the UK. And 10 o'clock for my friends in Hawaii. We will talk to y'all soon. Peace. Sorry, mad love, Ben.